Red Dead Redemption 2 is considered one of the most visually stunning games ever created, and it doesn't just look good, it also makes you feel like a real outlaw in 19th century America. The game's art design is incredibly detailed, and the world is packed with unique experiences. But here's the kicker. Rockstar has managed to create a massive map filled with so many mythical secrets and unique items that can easily be missed if you aren't paying attention. I understand, between all the missions, side quests, and overall just exploring, not everyone has the time to hunt down every last item. So I've put together this guide covering the 25 rarest items in Red Dead Redemption 2. I'll break down what each item is, what it does, as well as where you can find it. Ready to uncover some secrets? Let's dive in. First up on my list is the infamous Hawk Talon. If you're a bow user, this is a must-have item, as it reduces your stamina drain by 30% whenever you draw a bow. With the Hawk Talon equipped, you can draw your bowstring further and do more damage per shot because you have more stamina to work with. Not only that, but you can also take your time and get better shot placement if you're trying to score a clean kill from stealth. So where do you find the Hawk Talon? It's located at the source of Deadboot Creek in Ambrino, right where the river intercepts the far edge of the map. You can find it in front of the waterfall, inside a lockbox that's right next to the decaying corpse of a man and his horse. The abalone shell is another super rare item, and there's actually only one of them in the entire game, just like the Hawk Talon. By itself, it does nothing, but you can combine it with a legendary bison horn as well as silver earring to craft the bison horn talisman, which permanently reduces your stamina core drain by 10%. With the bison horn talisman, you can play a more aggressive run and gun style and never have to worry about bleeding your stamina bar dry in the middle of a fight. You can find the abalone shell on roads. It's located on a workbench inside an abandoned house that's north of the main street and a few hundred meters east of the butcher shop. Number 3 on my list is the cat eye, which increases the duration of fortifying effects by 20%. This is one of the best items to have if you do a lot of traveling because it's going to significantly improve the uptime on your tonics. This trinket is located on the southernmost island to the west of Braithwaite Manor in Flatiron Lake. It's located inside of a lockbox that's also next to an empty barrel as well as a box full of moonshine bottles. For the next item today, we've got another component. It's the cobalt petrified wood, and you'll need this to make the boar tusk talisman, which decreases health and stamina core drain rates by 10% for your horse. You'll also need the legendary boar tusk, as well as a gold earring. The cobalt petrified wood can be found in an overhang just north of Lake Isabella. It's greenish blue in color and rests inside of a chest in the back of an abandoned cart. If you're trying to max out your horse bonding as fast as possible, you're definitely going to want to pick up the shark tooth trinket. This is going to boost all bonding XP gain by 10%. It's not the most exciting trinket on my list, but it's still extremely rare and worth looking at if you love discovering and bonding with new horse breeds in the game. Finding this one is going to be a bit trickier than the others today. You'll have to follow the shoreline of the Lanahichi River all the way up to the easternmost point on the map. Once you're there, you'll find a piece of a wrecked ship and some broken crates, and the shark tooth trinket should be inside of a lockbox that's next to the crate that's the furthest away from the shore. Number 6 is the owl feather trinket. This is different from an owl feather, which you can collect at any time by hunting owls. The owl feather trinket is unique and it cannot be crafted. You also cannot find it anywhere on the map. The only way to obtain this trinket is by doing the optional mission Archaeology for Beginners, in which you retrieve a chanupa for Rain's Fall. And more importantly, you have to complete the mission without killing a single enemy. Only then will Rain's Fall give you this trinket. It's considered by many to be the most powerful trinket in the entire game, and it lowers the drain rate for all 3 of your cores by 15%. For the Panther's Eye trinket, you'll need to sell a legendary Panther Eye to the fence, who will then craft this item for you. It lowers Deadeye drain rates by 10% for the first 3 seconds, and is an absolute godsend if you like getting into gunfights with large groups of enemies. The legendary Jaguaro Panther can be found in Lemoyne, to the southeast of Boulder Glade and Scarlet Meadows. It will be available to hunt once you've unlocked Master Hunter 9, but be careful because this animal can kill you in one swipe even if you're using the special health cure or even a special miracle tonic. The ideal strategy here is to enter the area mounted on horseback because the panther will waste its first attack and circle back around as you get up, giving you time to activate Deadeye and line up a perfect headshot on it. I recommend something powerful like a shotgun. Kill this panther before it can close the distance, otherwise you won't get a second chance. Next is an item that's only available to those who purchase the special and ultimate editions of RDR2. It is the Iguana Scale Trinket, and it's preloaded into your inventory for free. This trinket is perfect for mounted combat as it reduces incoming damage by 10% while you're on horseback. And no, you can't craft it or collect it on the map. The only way to obtain this trinket is by purchasing either the special or ultimate edition of the game, so for some of you, it might actually be unobtainable, and thus the rarest item in all of Red Dead Redemption 2. Not all of us can afford to pay real-life money for exquisite trinkets, trinkets, but not to worry, every single one of them, except for one, is available in the base edition of RDR2, and the turtle shell trinket is almost as good as the iguana scale trinket. While the former reduces the amount of damage you take on horseback, this one increases the rate at which your health bar fills by 10%. Think of it as a passive healing item. You can find the turtle shell trinket in Gaptooth Breach. Look out for the building that's next to the mine, and the trinket should be in a lockbox underneath the stairs. Ammo is your primary resource in RDR2, and you'll often find yourself running out of it during the early stages of the game. The crow beak trinket increases the amount of ammo you get from looting bodies by 10%, which makes it an excellent choice for people who are low on money. But here's the problem with it. You can only get this trinket from a treasure hunt in the epilogue, which severely diminishes its usefulness because you rarely run into ammo issues at that point. Nevertheless, if you still want that trinket, you can find it by completing stage 3 of the Elemental Trail treasure hunt. Trinkets aren't the only rare objects in RDR2 though. There are also precious gems like fluorite and amylite. You can find both of these inside of a bird's nest in Amberino to the northwest of O'Creagh's Run. The nest is on a cliff face just south of Witch's Cauldron, and you can sell these to a fence, but they don't respawn and they're only worth $25 each. Red Dead Redemption 2 has plenty of wacky moments like the time-traveling geologist, UFOs, and an actual vampire, and the meteorite is another one of those things, and it's basically a giant space rock that's crashed into the middle of Roanoke Valley. And what's super cool about this is you can even collect your very own chunk of stardust by visiting the Meteor House, which is a homestead that's located to the southwest of Brandywine Drop. It has a giant hole in the floor, and you can collect a piece of this meteorite to gain a 10% exposure damage reduction in hot temperatures. Another extremely rare item in this game is the cat skull mask. This doesn't really offer any benefits, it just looks cool because you have the skull of a panther on your face. You can find this mask in Lekay, inside of a dilapidated shack that's flooded with water, and this mask is hanging from a wooden board just above a raised platform. Remember that mission in which you have to capture 3 runaway animals for a traveling circus act? Well, 2 of them turn out to be fake animals, but the last one is extremely real, and it's a lion. If you kill this lion, you'll be able to cut off its paw for the lion's paw trinket, which permanently increases your stamina XP gain by 10%. My next super rare item listed here today is actually a dime novel titled Wild West Heroes 132. If you're wondering what a dime novel is, it's basically a 19th century comic book with a fictional short story that's usually based on adventure or romantic themes. And in this case, the novel is about Jim Boy Calloway and stars Landon Ricketts, a famous gunslinger who is modeled after real-life Wyatt Earp. You can find Wild West Heroes issue 132 on a nightstand in the main bedroom of Downs Ranch. Want a scarecrow hat? You can find one in Guthrie Farm, west of Emerald Ranch. It's on the head of a scarecrow in the middle of the field. And no, it doesn't give any bonuses, you just wear it so you can look cool. Red Dead Redemption 2 has 2 fertility statues. Do these actually boost your fertility? Well, we'll never know, because Arthur isn't interested in having kids and John is content with just one. Anyways, to get the male fertility statue, you must visit a fisherman's shack that is located just south of Thieves Landing, and you'll find the fertility statue hidden inside of the fireplace there. The female fertility statue is located northwest of Van Horn and south of Sawbone Clearing. There's a little cabin just east of that intersection in the middle of some trees, and on the porch, you'll find the completely decayed corpse of a woman with a lockbox underneath her chair. Inside of this lockbox, you can find the female fertility statue. Like I mentioned earlier, there's plenty of weird stuff happening in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2, and one of these weird things involves a shrunken head that seems to be part of some ancient voodoo ritual because you can find it next to a cross, a skull, and some candles. The head is in one of the sheds in Lekay, preserved inside of a clay jar, and you'll have to shoot the jar to actually retrieve the head. When you and the gang storm into Braithwaite Manor to rescue Jack, there is an item that once missed can never be retrieved again, and this is the gold shield, as it's located in the first room to the left of the main hallway. You should be able to find it easily by looking to your left as soon as you break in through the main door, and the shield will be on top of the fireplace, and you can also find a letter to Angelo Bronte on the nearby dresser. The Native American ring is another rare item and can only be obtained through a random encounter with a drunk soldier. He will tell you about his time in Fort Riggs if you give him a bottle of whiskey, and if you don't give him anything to drink, he'll just pass out on his own and you can loot the ring from his body. One of the most exquisite and finely crafted hats in the entire game is Algernon Wasp's exotic hat, and it can be obtained from him as a reward for completing Duchesses and Other Animals Part 6. If you want a free pair of gold earrings, visit Watson's cabin in West Elizabeth. It's just above the Little Creek River, and it's also to the northwest of Wallace Station. Inside, you'll find a cranky old lady who's complaining about something. if you look inside of the drawer in her bedroom, you'll find a pair of her earrings. However, many people don't know that you can also find a free semi-auto shotgun as early as chapter 2 in the cellar underneath this cabin. That shotgun is far more valuable than the earrings, and it's going to give you a massive advantage in every gunfight. One of the creepiest stories in RDR2 is about a black sheep and a man. In Guthrie Farm, which is where we also found the Scarecrow hat, there are 3 shacks, and when you enter the last one, you'll find a guy passed out next to a black sheep. I don't want to guess what he was doing in there, but the sheep is all dressed up with a bow around its neck and even has a wedding ring on it. Yeah, there's some pretty freaky people in this game. RDR2 has 20 secret collectibles called dream catchers. Once you find all of them, you'll earn the ancient arrowhead, which is located in a cave that can be accessed by crossing through the waterfall in Elysian Pool. Once you're on the other side of that waterfall, you can travel deeper into that cave where you'll find an ancient buffalo painting on the wall. There's also a little recess in the buffalo's eye, and you can inspect it to collect your ancient arrowhead. This is probably the most difficult item to collect in RDR2, as you actually have to obtain all 20 dream catchers first and collect them in the right sequence. But the reward is worth it because the ancient arrowhead makes your stamina last twice as long whenever you're using the bow. It's like the Hawk Talon, but on steroids. So what did you think of my list? Are there any rare items I missed? Let me know in the comments below. I love how Rockstar has hidden all these little bits of trivia and Easter eggs in their game, spawning all sorts of fan theories and crazy subplots. Unfortunately, many of these can be missed if you don't do the optional side missions. For example, if you choose not to help the natives, you'll never get the owl feather trinket from Rain's Fall. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video here today. Make sure to like as well as subscribe if you want more Red Dead Redemption 2 content in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.